I'm Harry Henderson. I'm the Knowledge Exchange Manager for the East Midlands for Seals and Oilseeds. We're here today, July 2016, to talk to Tony Reynolds in the final instalment of 3 videos that we've been looking at his advances in no-till agriculture.
We started into CA 15 years ago, and we had the opportunity last October to purchase, in fact, 3 fields which are join us like a jigsaw right in the middle of the farm, which have been farmed classically, ploughed for years. And so we have an opportunity to compare. So we can compare literally within 5 metres land which has been CA unmoved for 15 years and land which was ploughed up until a year ago. The differences are quite remarkable. And we just completed a worm count on the new land, which demonstrated in 25 by 25 centimetre by 10 deep plots which were dug out last Thursday and Friday by Reading University. The average were 9 worms in the new ground and 40 per sample in our 15-year-old, and that really, the benefits that brings are enormous. Our first soil average is on 35% clay, so we've done some specifics on areas. We started off at about 2.3 soil carbon, organic carbon, which in 5 years has gone up to 4.25. 5 years after that we're up to 6.2, which I'm told is impossible, but I'll just say to people, come and have a look then if you don't believe it. Our output is higher than it was before we started, which is an absolute thrill. We've added no P, K or lime to the farm in 10 years, none. We will drill wheats straight after the combine and straight on with second wheats as soon as the first are drilled. Ideally everything drilled by the end of September. Springtime, CA soils, unmoved soils, take longer to warm up, and whilst one gets itchy feet and wanting to go when everybody else starts drilling, again we find 2 weeks, maybe 3 later in the spring, and the crops grow with such vigour when the ground is warm that they catch up anyway. Our fields remain much greener currently than those that were drilled equivalent date on cultivated soil. More noticeable this year I think than before, so ours is hanging on longer. One hopes that equates to filling the grains better. Grass weeds over time reduce. The problem with grass weeds and cultivation is that they're driven underground. Cultivation brings them back up again the next year. A nice seed bed works jolly well for particularly blackgrass, which is a scourge everywhere. We find that not moving it, Rothamsted will report that 80% will rot underground if it's not moved in a year. 80% of the 20% remaining will rot in year 2. It takes a long time to get to nothing, but if you don't disturb the soil, underground seeds will rot. So we only have to deal with seeds that are on the top. They're smaller, none of the big clumps that one gets with cultivated soil, and it reduces. We are not without blackgrass, I'd never claimed that, but after the number of years we've been at it, we are much reduced now, the quantity, and whereas we see locally vast increases in blackgrass populations on our ground, it is reducing. I think this will be a very major driver towards conservation agriculture. If one looks at John Nick's costing system, he will demonstrate that between 200 and 220 pounds sterling a hectare for establishment. It costs us 35 pounds. I suppose diesel consumption is the most obvious. Classic agriculture uses between 90 and 95 litres per hectare for all operations. We average 41. My first advice is to do it. just get on with it. It really is, one can pontificate and work round and go round. I say to people, come here and have a look.